up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-hosts, Micah.
Hey.
And Carrie.
What's up?
So, we're going to do Mass Effect 2 first, because that way, because we're going to keep it short this week, because I don't have to, do a full review of the game, because I didn't beat Mass Effect 2.
Because you didn't smash through it in a weekend?
No, I've only put 20 hours into it over the course of the last week.
Only? Okay.
Only 20. I've almost done all the loyalty missions at this point.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
My side missions.
Oh, wow. I'm at the most difficult part.
Of Mass Effect 2?
Yes.
What's the most difficult part? Is it the Horizon?
At the end of Horizon. That's it. If I can get past this, it's because I'm playing, on Insanity. And so it's taking a lot longer than it should.
Well, I applaud you for beating Mass Effect 1 on Insanity within a week, basically.
Yeah, well, it's because I know that game backwards and forwards. That's that's nothing. It's been a long time since I played Mass Effect 2, because I didn't play Mass Effect 2 as much as I played Mass Effect 1.
Mm-hmm.
I really forgot how dark that game is.
It's
right.
It's super dark. I gotta say, one of the reasons, besides the obvious reason that I'm glad I finally finished Mass Effect 1, is it gave me an even greater appreciation for Mass Effect 2. Mm-hmm. Having played through the first game and then seeing the immediate improvements that were made in the second game, make me really do appreciate how that game plays. Definitely when I first started playing 2 again, I forgot that cover is kind of important, and then I can't just roll up on dudes and expect to survive those battles.
Yeah, no, not at all. There's a reason why you can curve your powers over cover.
Yeah, because they want you to use it liberally. But again, much like in Mass Effect 1, once you get your Vanguard stuff rocking and rolling, then you become a crazy charging tank constantly, where you can just run into people and get a free barrier and shotgun them to death. And
once you get past Horizon, the game is a cakewalk, because you get exponentially more powerful. And to the point where, depending on your setup, I mean, you can one shot kill harbingers.
Your squad mates are really, really good and smart about not only using powers, but using the correct powers. You don't often have to tell, when they run up on if you have Garrus with you and you run up on a shielded enemy, you don't always have to tell him to use overload. He usually just does it.
Yeah,
and that's nice. It's nice having AI that behaves in a way that's intelligent, and it gets even better when you get to Mass Effect 3.
Yeah,
they're smarter in there.
So I had to restart I had to restart 5 or 6 times, because the colors in Mass Effect 2 are more vibrant, and there are more, right? You make your character in one, you got the code at the bottom so that you can type in the code and get your character back. Well, the in the first one, the character looks has the skin tone of my hand here, and in the second one he has the skin tone of my face right now. And it didn't work, so I had to kind of redo it to pick the right amount of melanin that I wanted for my Shepherd.
I redid mine only because I wanted to give my Shepherd a different hairstyle in the second game. I was like, she's a little older, she's a little wiser. She wouldn't be rocking the ponytail throughout this one. She's got the shoulder cut, a little bit more mature looking.
Yeah,
Shepherd. I'm probably not going to do that for 3. But like I said, in 2 you can justify it, because they had to rebuild you from nothing.
Yeah. You get everybody lets their hair. Ashley lets her hair down in 3, so why not Shepherd?
Oh man, but it's what a damn game Mass Effect 2 is. I don't even mind the planet scanning mini game. Like when I go on a run of planet scanning, that's great podcast time. I don't have to have anything.
Exactly. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. That's all I do. I am loaded on resources. I am fine. Plus, I'm kind of anal retentive. So if I go into a system,
Mhm.
I got to do all the planets.
Well, I need to learn about the lore. I got to know about the lore of the different planets. I got to know what type of planet it is. I got to know the if it's been colonized with the population. I got to know how it compares in size and orbital distance to Earth, so I can get a gauge for the type of planet that it is. You gotta, and then occasionally you come across like a blue sun's base
Yeah.
that you can eradicate. It's great.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm playing Paragon, which I don't remember doing last time, but in order to do that, I gotta like really max out the Paragon because like the loyalty missions, there's one loyalty mission that they do in the DLC where one of them you can do the mission and not gain loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Zaid's mission. And I wish all of them were like that, right?
Yeah.
Like I wish all of them had that.
Well, the reason you don't gain his loyalty is an extreme
Yeah.
circumstance.
Yeah.
He died, Carrie. Like if you let him die,
I
then
mean,
he will not be loyal to you because he will be dead.
that
Well,
seems fair.
Well, he dies eventually, right? Like you can play that mission, you can get all the way up to the end, and you can. I think if I remember correctly, you have to pass a Paragon check. If you don't pass the Paragon check,
It's an easy check though. I that was the first loyalty mission I did, and I was still a relatively low level Paragon.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a hard check to pass, but it is
Damn.
theoretically possible to.
I should have did it before Horizon because I wanted the cane. I wanted the mini nuke before I went to Horizon.
Yeah.
But and I know there's a heavy weapon upgrade in that DLC, but it's too late now.
Yeah. The cane is not as good. Well, I guess it would be good for the specific enemies that you're probably thinking about with Horizon.
Yeah.
But you'll get to use it again when you go to the when you visit the collector ship.
I'm not worried about it now. I was worried about it for Horizon.
I got.
I don't care. I don't give a damn about it after Horizon. I don't need that shit.
But yeah, it's been enjoyable going through it. I'm only bummed out. Someone asked about romancing. We'll talk about that when we get to post office. But apparently, my preferred romance option in the second game does not pop the trophy for you, which is a bit of a bummer. Which I'll explain later. So,
all right.
I also read a book that I finished today. Actually, Press Reset. Ruin and Recovery in the Video Game Industry. This is the new book that just came out, written by Jason Schreier of Bloomberg, where he details the very sad stories and stories of crunch and closures and just how really shitty the video game industry is for people that work in it. At 8 notable developers, and then dedicates the last chapter talking about what could possibly be done to fix this culture in the video game industry. The last chapter is good that it's there because it really does lend some hope that there is a productive and stable future for people in the video game industry if the industry could just pull its collective head out of its ass. But the stories are insane. You get a lot of context, some of which you know about, some of which you might not know about. It's funny because we actually talked a couple weeks ago. Someone asked what video game documentary would we most like to see, and I brought up 38 Studios. Not only do they have a chapter on 38 Studios in the book, but they had another chapter immediately following it about what subsequently happened to Big Huge once it was acquired by Epic Games in the immediate aftermath, which is a lot of stuff that I did not know about.
Big Huge, which I believe is still
they are reconstituted as under. So basically, the original founders who had left the studio in the wake of the 38 Studios debacle, started a new studio and then bought the trademark back from the state of Rhode Island. Then it went up for auction. So
I think they're still located in.
They're
Baltimore.
still in the Baltimore area. Yes. And doing well. They made Dominations, which is a great mobile game for them, and they made another game called Arcane something or other. I can't remember what the other title is.
When I was in middle school, I had a buddy whose dad worked, I think, as a programmer for Big Huge Games on their early stuff on Rise of Nations, and She, unfortunately, grew up to be a rootin' tootin' MAGA hat wearing idiot. So
it is what it is. I recommend the book though. It's well worth checking out, especially if you like the inside baseball part of the game industry. There's a whole chapter on what happened to Irrational Games, the studio that closed suddenly in the wake of BioShock Infinite's success. And you find out why that happened, which is incredible, quite frankly, that basically it closed on the whims of one man. It closed an entire game studio. So it's a good read. I recommend checking it out. You can buy it where you buy books, which for me is my Kindle. So Carrie,
yes,
which you can get through deadspixels.com/Amazon. Far be it from me not to throw a plug in on that. Carrie, you have been playing Shin Megami Tensei III Nocturne HD Remaster for the Nintendo.
Featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
It's important to note that I'm playing the version that features Dante from the Devil May Cry series. So yeah, Nocturne HD, which technically released to like everyone today. If you're a fucking weeaboo like me and you wanted to play it early, you could buy the digital deluxe edition, which includes all of the DLC, which is like extra background music and like an extra map, basically. I don't even know. But in a bizarre choice by Atlas, they decided to put Dante behind DLC. So when Nocturne first released, it released in Japan in early 2003, and it didn't have Dante in it. And then they released an updated version, which in Japan was called the Maniacs Edition. And that's what America got in 2004, was that version. That's why it had the sticker on it, the featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series. Like that fucking meme was from the Nocturne American box, because that's how they were marketing the game, is they didn't know how else to market this hardcore JRPG to dumb Americans. They were like, y'all know Dante sticker. And then Japan, like 5 years after that, got another updated edition called the Chronicle Edition. Now, by default, if you're playing Nocturne HD, if you don't buy what's called the Maniacs DLC, you're playing the Chronicle Edition, which has various quality of life upgrades from the original. But rather than Dante, you get Raido Kuzunoha from the Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner series. So I'm not sure why they decided to put Dante behind like a $10 DLC pack.
So people would pay for it.
It's just one more instance of Devil May Cry 2 just screwing you over. Because it's Devil May Cry 2
It is the MC2
Dante.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sullen asshole. Like, nah, man. Nah. We like the first Dante because he's a cornball. Flock off, Featherface.
Wow.
And the third Dante because
he turned into a Krusty the Clown alligator. I just imagine like kicking the door like with a bunch of demons like hey like I won now. I'll play a Devil May Cry game with Krusty Dante in it.
So in any case, here's the thing about them calling this an HD remaster. I feel like that's them being really generous because the game runs super smooth. The actual gameplay looks great. Very crispy little character models. Like everything looks really good. But then you get to the cutscenes.
Oh, they got awarded, did they?
The cutscenes. The cutscenes are still in fucking PlayStation 2 480i.
Yeah, they did that shit when the God of War HD collection came out on PS3. They're like, we made the game 1080, and then you get to a cutscene, you're like, whoa, what?
Yeah, like 4:3 aspect ratio, 480i.
Yeah. Like, I guess the rendering team did not show up for work today.
No, so it's really jarring to go from like really nice looking, like actual HD gameplay to like stretched as fuck PlayStation 2 pre-rendered footage. So I don't love that. And the music is also still like PlayStation 2 era, like compressed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't love that either. Because that, like, I'm sure they have the masters. I don't know why they wouldn't like remaster the music for contemporary consoles. I'm playing on PC. The game is also available on PlayStation 4 and on Switch. Um, I had the thought, I was like, maybe Atlas will patch in uncompressed music. But knowing Atlas, no, they won't. They won't do that. They already have my money. Why would they do that? So it feels like a very low effort release from Atlas. That being said, Nocturne's a great game. Nocturne's one of the best RPGs released on the PlayStation 2, and it's nice that I can now play it on PC. I hope it does financially well for them and that it encourages them to put additional classic Mega 10 games on PC. I would love to revisit the Digital Devil Saga duology, for instance. I also would really like to play Persona 3 again. I would like to play any of the PlayStation 2 era Shin Megami Tensei franchise games because there were a bunch of them and fucking all of them were brilliant. Like, there's not a bad one in the bunch. Atlas just had a run of just incredible RPGs, one after the other on the PlayStation 2. As far as Nocturne specifically, I feel like it has a reputation for being exceedingly difficult. It's not as hard as
all the Shin Megami Tensei games to me have a reputation of being exceedingly difficult. So
Nocturne specifically, I think, has that reputation. It's a little less forgiving. It's very much like if you like start a random battle and just like you're badly matched as far as elemental weaknesses, they will just fucking wombo combo your ass and you're done. Like
so it's like Dragon Quest then.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, I just got past the first sort of bullshit boss, which is the Matador. Matador for many is a rage quit kind of boss for some folks, but I fucking mollywopped his ass last night. And that's the thing, first time I tried him, I was a little underleveled. And he fucking wiped my ass in about a turn and a half. And then I came back with a bone to pick and got him down in about 6.5 minutes. So it all works out. But so much of the game is just sort of knowing elemental weaknesses and just being prepared. Like, there's no such thing as being over prepared in Nocturne. You can, however, be underprepared. It's very easy to be underprepared. So yeah, I mean, it's good. Given the fact that it's barely an HD remaster, I can't help but wince at the $50 price tag.
Yeah, especially like not that the two games have anything to do with one another, but it looks pretty bad when you see, like, for $60 from EA of all companies, we just got 3 Mass Effect games that are all brilliantly remastered.
Yeah. Yeah, this feels like a very low effort release from Atlas. I mean, that being said, like, the game is still really good. This is like a 18-year-old game now, and like it's still a good game. They didn't like have to overhaul anything really. The story is still interesting. Look, if you're a millennial like me and you are out here to attack and dethrone God, you had better play Shin Megami Tensei, because that is all that series is about.
It's I think it's going to be really interesting in the next 10 years specifically to see how many like PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 era games have stood the test of time, because we're starting to see a lot of the cracks in the like PlayStation 1 era, since we're 20 25 years removed from that. And truly, like, there are some games that very much stand out and some games that were very much of their day.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be curious to see which ones of the of what is it, Gen 6 and Gen 5,
I
what
don't know.
generations they are considered timeless. So
Yeah, I would say Nocturne feels pretty timeless. I mean, I first played Nocturne in probably 2007. I don't think I ever finished it. I don't remember finishing it. I'm gonna try and finish it this time. There's like 8 different endings you can possibly get. So we'll see what happens. And again, I really hope it does well and that it encourages Atlas to put more Shin Megami Tensei content on Steam. That's all I want.
And maybe to put a little bit more elbow grease in it the next
maybe
time.
you up-res your cutscenes next time. That would be great. Maybe we get cutscenes that are in a contemporary aspect ratio and not 4:3 480i. That'd be swell. Thanks, Atlas.
Well, we have a bunch of new games that have released this week. First off, the somewhat of a white whale of gaming, a game that's been in development for years and was supposed to come out like 3 years ago. Biomutant came to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. This game was like, it's a RPG. It's an open world.
What am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm thinking of Bio Freaks.
There you go. Biomutant came out with mixed reviews. So, but to their credit, their marketing team went on Twitter and was like, the reviews for Biomutant are all over the place. So you know what that means? You got to check it out for yourself to see if it's any good. I was like,
yeah, I saw that.
Man. Way to steer into the skid, guys. Way to steer into the skid.
I don't think it's like a skid because it's at like a 70 on Metacritic, which is like, by no means that's not like a terrible score.
No, it's not a terrible score, but I think that this
it
game
indicates mixed.
Circles, yeah, like a game in this game in certain circles had a lot of, I don't know if hype's the right word, but anticipation it might be a good one.
When it came out, this was the first I heard of it, but that just might be me living in my own bubble.
For me, we've had the cover art in GameStop, or we had the cover art in GameStop in the coming soon section for literally like 3 years.
Wow. Okay.
And then I left GameStop and the game still hadn't come out yet. So that for me, it's weird to see it finally arrive.
I mean, it's good when a game finally comes out.
Apparently this was also made by a very small development team. I think the people that worked on it, it's like a 20-person team, so it's not, it's a AAA game.
I did see the I guess it's Ubisoft, right?
They're publishing it, yeah.
Yeah, I saw them post like one review or one clip from a review that was like, the open world stuff is great, but the fighting is and then the other one which was like, the fighting is great, but the open world stuff is and then just sort of like a shrug gif. Like
that's pretty funny. Apparently the map is larger than that of like Skyrim's, so they say, but there's apparently not a lot to do.
I was going to say like sure, like the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, I think, still has the largest map of any game ever produced, but there ain't shit to do in it.
That can't be true anymore. There has to go find that. Someone go find that YouTube video that has all the different like land areas in various video games.
It's still Daggerfall.
It can't be.
I literally just Googled largest video game map. It is the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall with 62,000 square miles. That's
insane.
Yeah, it's insane. That being said, I would not recommend anybody play Daggerfall.
Is that even bigger than like the current like Assassin's Creed? I guess it would have to be, wouldn't it?
Yo, it's not even close.
Yeah.
Like I don't need that in video games, by the way. I'm tired of
more
a bunch of land. I want build up.
Like, here's the thing. Skyrim is a sizable map, but there is a lot to do. It's not like you're running in an empty open field for hours on end. Like, you will eventually run into something, and it won't take you very long.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, man.
Final Fantasy 14 comes to PlayStation 5. King of Seas comes to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. Maneater comes to Nintendo Switch. I think this is still free on PlayStation. I could be wrong about that. No, it's not. That was a free game a couple months ago. I'm thinking of the other island theme game that is free right now. We talked about Shin Megami Tensei III Nocturne HD Remaster on PlayStation, Switch, and PC. Made of Skur comes to PlayStation 5 and Series X. Earth Defense Force World Brothers, they're still making those, comes to PlayStation, Switch, and PC. The Oddworld Collection comes to Nintendo Switch. The Idolmaster Starlit Season comes to PlayStation and PC. The Longest Road on Earth comes to PC, not longer than Dagger Falls, apparently. Wonder Boy Asha in Monster World comes to PlayStation, Switch, and PC. And World's End Club comes to the Nintendo Switch.
Cool.
Go to densepixels.com/fans. Join our Discord. There you can interact with us and post questions in the post office that we will answer, like we will do later on this in the episode. While you're on the internet, go to youtube.com/densepixels. You can see Brad in his red shirt and Carrie with her tattoos and me with my washed out face. You can subscribe to all of the TNP Studios podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, including The Dirt Apocalypse, Black on Black Cinema, Coming Distractions. We recently reviewed Army of the Dead. We watched it so you don't have to. In the weekly preview episode of the Look Forward Political Podcast. If that's not enough, you can go to densepixels.com/premium for $5 a month or $50 a year. You get access to all the premium slate of podcasts, including the airing of Grievances, which is on a regular schedule now because we want to be done. We got like 2 of them in the can, so we're really committing to this. Another thing that we will be committing to in June is No Time to Bleed. The Men with the Golden Tongues. I don't know what they're doing with No Time to Bleed. I think Jay is just trying to blame Andy. Like, oh, I'm waiting for Andy because we have a movie that
it's hard to coordinate podcasts with him when you have to like hand crank your internet to get it. So
have you guys done RoboCop on No Time to Bleed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Bitches Leave. Yeah. We've
I watched RoboCop for the first time last weekend.
God, I wish I could have been there to experience it with you all over again. What a fantastic movie.
Let me guess. I did not know that. Let me guess. You immediately thought of like, oh, it's the that 70s show guy. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Dude, something about him specifically saying bitches leave. Just like it's different.
It's the iconic line from that movie.
Bitches leave is one of the funniest 2 words I've ever heard back to back. And then coming from him, with that voice and that face, I mean, it's gold. It's gold.
To be fair, it's one of the best like line deliveries. Like he made the most out of the material that he could.
Yeah, man. Really I loved it. No Time to Bleed. We have a movie picked out, but we're waiting for Andy to get a new can and string. Upstage Conversation and the full episode of the Look Forward Political Podcast, which I am presuming Brad will be on this next show. So densepixels.com/premium, densepixels.com/fans, youtube.com/densepixels.
I have to know, aside from Bitches Leave, which is more of a quote, what was your favorite scene in RoboCop? What was your favorite part?
I think watching the one like the other robot fall down the stairs.
with all the animal noises it was making
I was like
reason.
First I was like, why is it growling? And then I was like, oh, this poor thing is just like squealing and flailing around on the floor. Like I cannot help but feel sorry for it. But yeah, when the whatever the other one's called just basically turned into like a cow and couldn't get down the stairs.
Yeah, as intimidating as Ed 209 is, you realize it has the same like defect that Claptrap does, where it can't handle stairs, and then it's just like, stairs. Oh, okay, I'm not scared of this thing at all.
I thought the ending was like a little anticlimactic.
Well, the ending was in the junkyard, and then like the thing at the offices is just like the coda.
It feels like a real coda.
Yeah, it's almost like in a James Bond movie when Bond kills like the main villain, and then like the villain's henchman somehow manages to hang around as the film's about to end, and he has to like kill that guy real quick too.
Yeah.
So it's that vibe. But I do like that scene because the old man that runs OCP also did the most with a very little bit of Dick. You know, he's being held. It's like, Dick, you're fired. And then
Just, there's a lot. There's a lot in that movie.
it's a great
I like
film. If you're looking for something with much less quality but a lot more unintentional comedy, I would highly recommend RoboCop 2 at some point.
that's what I've heard.
Avoid 3. It's not
That's
good.
also what I've heard.
Not good. But this makes me happy. I'm happy that you're apparently getting into late 80s action movies that you missed.
I don't know that I would say I'm getting into that. It was mostly like I had friends who were doing a group watch, and so RoboCop was the movie, and I was like, I'll watch RoboCop. I haven't seen RoboCop before.
So that you
I haven't seen Die Hard all the way through.
We know. No. We know. We found out last week.
We did, yes. I enjoyed RoboCop though.
Have you seen Predator? You've seen Predator, right?
No.
Oh my god.
The first Predator movie is
the first Predator is a legitimately great movie. Like not just a great action.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
Great.
Honestly, you know what I was most impressed by in RoboCop is how good the practical makeup was on RoboCop when they took his helmet off. I was like, that looks really good. This movie came out in 1980?
1987, yeah.
Yeah, because they had to make shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't all like
it's not like there's no computer generated nothing. Like
yeah,
like Ed 2.0 whatever is stop motion, and yeah, the practical effects in that film are great. A little over the top on like the dude taking a dozen shotgun blasts to the chest.
Oh, you didn't enjoy the death of Alex Murphy, aka the most over the top cinematic death in the history of cinematic deaths. And like
they blew his arm off with one shot and then like continued to shoot him for like a full 90 seconds, and he's just standing there screaming.
You probably saw the theatrical version. There's an X-rated version that's more gruesome than the one that you probably saw.
Oh, I like it when he shot that guy's dick off too. That was good. That's real good.
We need more dick shooting in movies. That's something that
when I'm president, I will
not just shot the dude in the dick, but did it through the potential rape victim's skirt. Yeah, which takes it up to another whole other degree. My other favorite scene in that movie is the Toxic Avenger dude when he got then like his entire face started melting off.
That was a little over the top for me.
Yes.
I don't do well with like body horror like that. Like I was just like. But again, great practical effects.
Yeah, what a film RoboCop is. It's a very like light news week, so we're just gonna blow through some silly stories. Apparently, Team Ninja is making a Final Fantasy game, but not a regular Final Fantasy game. They're making a Final Fantasy spin-off that is going to have Souls-like gameplay, much like the Soul series and Jedi Fallen Order and things of that nature. According to the report from Fanbyte, it says that the game is going to be, quote, more accessible than Neo for a wider audience. And it is going to be set during the events of the first Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
So
apparently Team Ninja and Square Enix already have a close working relationship, as Team Ninja worked on Dissidia Final Fantasy NT, which is a fighting game. Yeah, I'd be super down for this. I really like the original Final Fantasy. I would love to see more of the Warriors of Light and Garland, but like in contemporary gameplay. I think that would be great.
Wouldn't you rather see like a traditional Final Fantasy game though, with a new story featuring?
But like we're getting that with Final Fantasy 16, which is already.
Are we? We don't know what we're getting with Final Fantasy 16 yet.
I mean, that's true. They could keep the action style gameplay. I would love another true turn-based Final Fantasy. What I really want is a version of Final Fantasy VI that is playable on PC and doesn't look and play like trash.
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
When are we getting that? Right?
Never, apparently.
Like every other Final Fantasy has.
No, not every other Final Fantasy. Just Final Fantasy 7. You don't see them rolling out the red carpet for 8 and 9 here, do you?
Well,
I mean, they at least did a
they at least did an
a-
update of those games. They redid 4. It was for like the
DS version of 4 I thought was
but-
great.
yeah, like because 4 is great, right? Like,
Yeah.
but like, come on, man.
I don't like that art style they use for.
I don't like it either.
I don't
but it
love it.
happened.
It
Right.
happened and it worked and it played well. And it didn't like, even if you don't love the art style, it didn't look like mobile garbage, like the current PC version of 6 does.
I would like to know what and I'm sure the information's out there, but I don't know if NPD is a good source for it. I would like to know how Final Fantasy VI lines up in terms of like lifetime sales in the Final Fantasy game series. I have to imagine that's part of the reason. Like maybe 6 for some reason just is like one of the middling selling games in the series.
I mean, I'm pretty sure 2, 3, and 5 are the most middling sales of the
One would
series.
assume, but those also never got a proper North American release before that.
At least not until much later. No, I've played 2. 2 is atrocious. Don't ever play like the actual Final Fantasy 2. It's not a good time.
Yeah.
5 is a lot of fun. 5 is a great job system. 5 is great music.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I saw a retrospective of someone who recently played through 9. It's of the original series that were North America facing. It's the only one I haven't played. I know Micah is a huge 9 advocate.
I'm not a huge 9 advocate. I have not. I missed out on 9, and I tried to play it, but I couldn't do it. I played 8. I'm not a fan of that.
It's because 8's not very good.
I'm an advocate for 10. 10 gets a lot of flack, but
winning to me.
I really like 10, man. I really do.
I thought you were a 9 stan for some reason. I don't know why I had that thought in my head.
Nope. 11 was fun.
I have a friend who's a 9 stan. I feel like here's the thing: if you played 9 and you like 9, it's your favorite Final Fantasy.
Yeah, that's what I hear from people. Like they play 9, and it's like, especially coming off of like the Dawson's Creekification of Final Fantasy, like for it to like be like some high fantasy again. Yeah, people love it.
That's what I'm most looking forward to with 16, is that they're going back to like classic high fantasy. Whereas like 12 was sort of a balance between that sort of like sci-fi. 12 was more like steampunky.
12 was on more of the 6 side of high fantasy than.
Yeah, I don't mind the sort of steampunk sort of aspect. I mean, 6 is great, obviously, and 6 did that sort of aesthetic really well. I never liked the sort of like modern sci-fi sort of take on stuff. Like I didn't like that with 13. Of course, I don't think the 13 games are good anyway. If I want to run down a hallway, I'll just run down a hallway. Same thing with like 15. 15 was like way too modern looking for me, and like I hear 15's a great game. I just look at that game and I know that is not for me.
Yeah, because you spend like a third of it in a car. Like road tripping.
And I'm a boy band advocate, and I don't even want to play 15. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to 16. But I hope, I would love to see a new take on Final Fantasy 1. I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 1. It set the standard for JRPGs when it released 35 years ago.
Yeah. Very the Dr. No of Final Fantasy, where it's, obviously been improved upon, but it still exists as a template and it's still good in its own right.
Yeah.
When accounting for the era that it was released in.
Yeah.
Twitch has created a stopgap solution for all of the apparent glut of hot tub and like beach streams that a lot of folks have been putting on there. They got a lot of complaints. Yeah. So
dude, just there are some dudes who are just mad that they decided 4 years ago that they were going to be a full-time streamer on Twitch and it never happened, and they're mad that a girl who has big old boobas has more views and more subscribers than they do. That's all the complaints really boil down to. They're like, oh, it's sexual content, and it's like it's a girl wearing a tank top and her camera angle is like this. Like that's all it is a girl wearing a low cut shirt with a high camera angle so you can see right down that shirt.
I think it was incels and also like advertisers.
I'm sure advertisers have some sway in this, but at least on Twitter, most of what the complaints I'm seeing is just like, oh, it's sexual content. And I love that Twitch was literally like, being found to be sexy by others is not against our rules.
Yeah, what kind of shit is that, yo?
That's an all-time quote.
Well, it's up there, yeah. So yeah, being found to be sexy by others is not against our rules, and Twitch will not take enforcement action against women or anyone on our service for their perceived attractiveness.
So the big downside here, though, is that from what I understand, is that the advertising is not going to be like the Twitch ads that they show are not going to be on those channels. Which if you are, partaking in those streams and things of that nature, then you're not going to get ad revenue from them, which is a problem. They took a prominent streamer named Amaranth and suspended advertising on her channel indefinitely and didn't even reach out to her about it. She had to contact them.
I mean, that's pretty par for the course for Twitch as far as just taking action and not telling them why or anything ahead of time. Yeah, I mean, I feel like having the category is probably good and smart because most people who were doing these sort of streams were just doing them under the very vague just chatting category, which is basically anything not explicitly related to like music or gaming. But yeah, I mean, look.
I mean, look.
It feels like this was probably necessary. But now it's like, oh, if you want to browse the just chatting category on Twitch and you don't want to see like fucking big mommy milkers, now you don't have to. Like,
I don't know why everyone's up and out. Like, this is your channel. You can do what you want as within, Twitch's bounds of reason. And if they say it's cool for you to be in a bikini, as long as you are in a setting where a bikini is allowed or common, fine. But it's a double-edged sword, man. Like, if I don't want to advertise, because of what you wear, like I'm not going to. Like, you just got to find people who will advertise. I'm not and to the people complaining, like, come on, man. Like 5 minutes ago you were flicking the bean or whacking the bag, and now that you've come out of your orgasm stupor, now you're like, oh, but they're taking my views, right? Like, one, no, they weren't, and two, like, you can't have it both ways, man. Just like they can't have it both ways, you can't have it both ways. And be entertaining. Like, I go on Twitch every once in a while. I've never come across someone in their skivvies. Now, I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I didn't know, I wasn't looking for it. But I don't think I would look for it because, like, porn is ubiquitous, right? Like, it's literally everywhere. Twitch is not where I need to go for that. And the people that I watch on Twitch, their personalities, like, they're more than just what they look like. Just be a personality. That's why I'm not on Twitch. I think I've gotten on Twitch twice. My personality is not strong enough for people to watch me play a game by myself. If I'm with someone and I can go back and forth with you, then I will go on Twitch and we can play together, and it could be just like this show, except on Twitch. But you got to be a personality. So stop complaining and start learning how to talk to people.
Blizzard had a 2-hour live stream event talking about an update, the first update they've revealed for Overwatch's 2 multiplayer, I'm not going to dive into the minute details that were part of that event. All I will tell you is that the big news that came out of it right up front is that Overwatch 2 is going to be switching from a 6v6 game to a 5 versus 5 game with fixed class structures available in each game. So currently in Overwatch, and I think they actually went back and did this with Overwatch 1, where you can't have like duplicate heroes now on each team. And so to encourage better class alignment. So now Overwatch 2, it's 5v5. You're going to have one tank, 2 damage dealers, and 2 support heroes on both teams. Obviously, you can't pick the same hero on each side twice. You can pick them on opposite sides twice. But they say that this will be big changes for tank characters, obviously, because they said 2 tanks were just kind of gumming up the works a little bit in Overwatch games. It'll make tanks more aggressive. And they're going to be changing how some of the tanks work to kind of match this play style a little bit, which is going to be interesting. They said it'll be better for when live streaming games, like when watching professional Overwatch. It's easier to follow the action with 10 people than it is with 12. I don't get how only losing 2 people makes it that much easier, but it does by definition make it easier to follow what's going on. And they showed off the new push PvP mode that they're adding to the game, along with the new New York and Toronto maps that are coming into the game as well. Now, apparently, and I could be totally wrong about this, so someone that knows more about Overwatch can correct me. Eventually, like Overwatch 2, when it comes out, is going to just be Overwatch. Like all the multiplayer in Overwatch 1 will migrate to Overwatch 2. And anything that changes in Overwatch 2 from like balancing and things of that nature will be retroactive to Overwatch 1. And the things you get by buying Overwatch 2 are the PvE mode that they're putting into the game, the campaign, and like better resolution and graphics and, all this other stuff. But like if you just want to play the multiplayer and you own Overwatch 1, apparently you'll be able to do that when Overwatch comes out, because they don't want to maintain 2 separate, communities, which makes a lot of sense.
That makes sense. It's smart from a business standpoint. It's friendly to consumers. I like that idea. I mean, I don't play Overwatch, but
every time I see like a deep dive on it, I always want to play more. So I always wish I had time to get more into it, because I do enjoy Overwatch, what little I played of it, but I've never really sat down and dedicated a significant amount of time to getting better at it.
Yeah.
So Carrie, do you want to take the next story? Because the article that you linked, I can't get into because it has a paywall in front of it. So
Which one?
The Netflix story.
The Netflix story.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Oh, yeah. So it does have a paywall. Interesting. Yeah. So in any case, Netflix is apparently looking to hire an executive to basically oversee an expansion into the realm of video games. Basically looks like they're trying to get beyond streaming. But the report said that Netflix is considering a bundle of games available via a subscription similar to those offered by Apple Arcade. A Netflix spokesperson seemed to lend credence to this new project, rumors saying that the company is, quote, excited to do more with interactive entertainment. So
this is weird, right? Like, is it like Apple Arcade? I mean, you had Apple Arcade. Could you play it through your Apple TV, and did you just use your Apple TV remote?
So I think it's possible to do it. Why you'd want to, I don't know. like that would not be like for a mobile experience game, that wouldn't make any sense. I think you can use a controller on Apple TV, but again, why would you want to when you have a perfectly good game console sitting right there? I think in this instance, it depends on how they approach this, right? So like if because they have a distribution platform already set up, which gives them a leg up on anyone else that's tried to venture into the space. I think if you don't make people buy a box or dongle, and you don't force people to buy a controller, like if you're like, hey, like you can use this controller that you have, you can use any controller you have lying around and somehow sync it up with you. But see, that's going to require compatibility for the hardware that you're streaming Netflix on. So you run into that problem as well. But
I
if
mean,
you're
only
doing it through your game console, you know.
the only thing I can think of, and one of the articles here is kind of mentioning it on The Verge, with what they did with that Black Mirror episode, where it was like a choose your own adventure style game. Maybe it can be more of a traditional adventure style game. But I don't, because that takes minimal effort, right? You can use the arrow functions on whatever remote you have,
Right.
to choose whatever options you want. But I mean, look, I like Bandersnatch, right? But and I went through it. Took a couple hours, but I went through all of it. But I don't know. I'm not gonna participate in something like that. I'm just very curious to see how they would do this.
It depends on how fully asked their venture into video games is going to be, right? Like if they're just kind of kicking a can at it to see what sticks, then they're not going to be successful.
Right.
If they try to do a Google Stadia type thing, I don't think they're going to be successful. Like I think that's a tough market to get into. If Google is gonna not be successful at it, then how the fuck is like Netflix going to? There's also the challenge of streaming. So like logically to me, I would think that you would want to be like, hey, Netflix is on your game console, so you can just play this through your game console. And this is quick and easy and it's awesome. Problem is that if you're streaming on your PlayStation, for example, I guess on PC it won't be as big of a deal, and most people do stream on PC. But if you're streaming like through your game console, you can't use Netflix if you're also using like an Elgato, because Netflix is, requires a secure HD signal coming through your HDMI cable, and the Elgato doesn't work that way. So like you run into some technical limitations in that regard as well. Like you can't use any of the media apps while you're plugged into a capture card, essentially. So
I look, I don't know what their plans are, but part of me, offended is not the right word. I'm not offended, but like these companies that don't have a history with gaming, I feel like it's a lot of hubris to just come in and just be like, yeah, we're gonna get into gaming because that's easy.
I mean, that Google tried.
Right. Google. Like they got all the money in the world. They're one of the 4 companies that's going to rule everything once, right? Like, and they can't crack that nut.
Right. I mean, Amazon has a successful product in Luna in terms of that it works. But what have you heard about Luna in the past 3 months?
Right.
Like it's out there in beta. No one fucking talks about it. And that's Amazon. So, yeah, I don't know. It depends on what they're looking like. Again, they're coming from a good starting point, but you have to. The key is you have to offer something that is unique that you can't get anywhere else, and it's hard to find that stuff. Like the reason Apple Arcade is successful is because Apple was smart and put a lot of popular games on there. Also signed a lot of indie developers that make mobile games to put stuff on there as well that are really good and got like exclusivity and things of that nature. So it made it worth, paying the $5 a month for this one game, and then I'll play these other games while I'm here. And there's a wide variety of stuff. They had 100 games on the service when it launched. I don't think whatever Netflix is going to do is going to have 100 games on it when it first drops. Find that highly unlikely. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of kicking the can at things, there's a report that's out now that Valve is making a portable gaming PC similar to the Nintendo Switch. We don't know much about this yet. Apparently, it's going to be Linux based. It's going to have a touchscreen. It's going to have controls. You can link it to larger monitors with the USB-C connection. The code name for it is the Steam Pal, which is a terrible name.
That's awful.
Don't do that.
That's right up there with Wii U as far as.
Yeah. And look, I don't necessarily trust Valve to do this either. Valve kind of tried this before. Like they did a PC console several years ago, the Steam Link. If you guys, or the Steam Box, if you guys remember that from back in the day. Oh, wait, you don't remember it? Because no one fucking bought one.
Yeah, no one
They
cared.
cost almost as much as a goddamn gaming PC. And if you're going to spend that kind of fucking money, why wouldn't you just buy a gaming PC?
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that this thing is probably going to come out and it's going to cost like $800. And people are going to be like, I could pay $800, or for like $300 more, I'll buy a gaming laptop.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be as portable, but I feel like that, I feel like it's money better spent. Or you'll spend $500 less and just buy a Nintendo Switch, assuming you don't already own one.
I mean, Steam Engine is right there, right? Call it the Steam Engine. Like, all right, Steam Pal. You play PC games. Did you ever get that? Valve controller?
No.
That had
no, because it's not a good controller.
You know who had the
I think I held
controller?
one once and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, you know who had the Steam controller? I had the Steam controller.
Yeah.
because I got one with a Steam Link for free.
Again, this is the best controller they've ever come up with.
That Valve controller was it was the worst
Awful.
controller.
Awful.
Look, it was worse than the Ouya controller. Like the Ouya controller was a better controller than the Steam controller. Because with the Steam controller, they made the choice to have those like two like discs that you could press way too far for what you should be able to do for a D-pad.
Weird. Just bad design.
Weird, like the weird face buttons that instead of being a button were more like the release on a pocket knife, kind of like they kind of tapered in that way. It was terrible.
Weird. Again, this is the best controller that this is peak controller design. And it works. I didn't have to like buy anything fancy. It just works with my PC because it's Microsoft.
Yeah.
Fucking garbage. Steam controller. Fuck that. Man. I haven't thought about that thing in years.
I don't know why Valve's putting money into hardware R&D at this point.
It makes no sense because like all anyone wants from Valve is like clear policies on Steam and Half-Life 3. That's it.
You know what you can do with that money that you're spending on R&D for this fucking console that no one's going to want to buy? Pay your developers more.
Pay your developers.
How about that?
That'd be great.
How about that?
How about you pay your devs and I don't know, like finish the Half-Life story, I guess. Like I'm not a Half-Life fan, so I don't give a shit.
Do you think Half-Life 3 fans really want Half-Life 3 at this point?
I do. I genuinely do.
It cannot possibly live up to any expectations.
No, much like how Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't live up to expectations, Half-Life 3, if it were to ever come out at this point, certainly would not live up to any sort of built-up hype for it either. That being said, I still think people want it.
But then again, Half-Life Alyx was supposedly good, so.
I heard the story was really good. I mean, didn't it win a bunch of VR awards? Like, it's a very good VR game, I hear. But
is it one of those things where psychologically people say they want it, but like a dog chasing a car?
It's like Schrodinger's game at this point.
Yeah,
it's like you want it when it doesn't exist, and then as soon as it exists, you probably don't really want it as much as you thought you did.
And especially now, like in the with the discourse that surrounds literally everything, like people can't wait to just crap on something. I hope it never comes out. I hope it never ever comes out.
Yves Guillemot, the head of Ubisoft, CEO, put out a statement that on one hand, I'm appreciative that they're updating us on progress, but on the other hand, how tangible is any of this? So basically, Ubisoft put out a statement letting us know how they're doing at tamping out harassment inside of Ubisoft, because that's a real big problem at Ubisoft, as we've detailed many times over the last year or so. They said that over 14,000 Ubisoft employees have taken part in, quote, group-wide assessments, including an anonymous questionnaire, while 2,000 employees took part in focus groups and listening sessions. There's been anti-harassment training. The company's HR organization was audited by an outside company, and they strengthened their non-discrimination and anti-harassment policies. They're developing a new company code of conduct, which will be mandatory for all staff to sign. And then he says, we've recently implemented a new performance criterion to our compensation scheme with specific expectations for managers, which will focus on their ability to care for people, behave inclusively, and foster a safe and respectful work environment. So yeah, I don't know how necessary this was. It's good that they're doing something.
Do they got a game coming out? I mean, like, yeah, that's very cynical, but having all of this, like all of this training and having people sign documents, all that's fine and good. It's good to remind people not to be like sex pests. But until you start putting heads on pikes, like things aren't gonna change. Like, you gotta, like, people have to lose their jobs publicly.
There has to be actual consequences.
Yeah, man. Like, that paragraph that you just read, the quote, the person writing the article says, in short, managers who fail to uphold the safety of their reports, managers who fail to uphold the safety of their reports will be impacted financially. Impacted financially?
How?
What does that mean?
They'll get a smaller bonus, Micah.
Right. Like, are you going to lose your job? That don't sound like lose your job.
Yeah, you know what's a big financial impact? Losing your job.
I mean, come on, man. Like I get it. I get it, but this is nice to say.
Well, yes,
but
ask you guys a question. Did Generation X like not happen in France and French Canada? like isn't Gen X supposed to be like the fucking laid back, like, apathy generation? Instead you're out here like harassing people. Get the fuck out of here. I guess there's some elder millennials in those groups too.
I believe the term is geriatric millennials.
No, it is not. No, it isn't. What a terrible term. What an awful term, geriatric.
I love that.
Is that even correct?
Geriatric millennials.
I was so mad when I saw that. I don't normally care about, like, nomenclature when it comes to, referring to things, but that pissed me off. Pissed me off, geriatric. It was in like the fucking New York Times too.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Mike, are you an elder millennial, or are you technically Generation X? I can't remember.
I have no idea. I don't know when the cutoff is. I was born in 1980. I've heard that.
Like,
I think that's like, yeah.
I think you can identify however you want to.
I'm all I know is I'm 40. I'm old. I've had enough. I am literally too old for this shit.
I am 30 or 40 years old, and I do not need this.
Like, if you would like to feel old, you are only 3 years younger than Danny Glover was when he was in the first Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, that's what I.
So
wow.
Apparently, millennials is basically between 1981 and basically 1985. So, Micah, you're like right on the cusp.
Oh, okay.
I was born in 89, so I'm like smack dab in the middle. Which means, like, I guess I know what comes after the lyric, peaches come from a can, but also
I've never heard of that.
Well, I guess you're a Gen Xer then.
They were put there by a man in a factory downtown. if I had my little way, I'd eat peaches every day.
Terrence is a millennial, and he also didn't know the song, so I feel like that there might be some culture.
No, because like because Presidents of the United States of America is a white person's music group.
Okay.
But then, like, I also know like half the lyrics to "Poison" by Belle Biv DeVoe, so I don't know what that says about me personally.
It says that you are eclectic, and
means
that,
I am cultured,
and you are a fan of overrated black boy bands. Belle Biv DeVoe is not good.
I mean, I just like that one song, like that song. I know that song.
No, I get it. And look, some people are gonna come for me because like, what do you mean Belle Biv DeVoe is not good? Name another song. Name 3 Belle Biv DeVoe songs.
Belle Biv DeVoe got one of those like 20th century artists silver collection CDs at one point in time. So are you
and it's 3 tracks long.
You know who else had one of those CDs? And you're not going to believe this when I tell you, but it absolutely is fucking true. Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell?
No, like Rockwell, the music artist. Rockwell, who's only known for the song "Sometimes I Feel Like Someone's Watching Me," which is only known because Michael Jackson was on it.
Yeah,
the 20th century artist.
Jesus,
Micah, the real age milestone that you should be scared of is still a decade away for you, and that, of course, is the Wilford Brimley Cocoon line, the Brimley Cocoon line. There's an internet meme of when Wilford Brimley, who looks 60 all the time, like he was eternally 60, was 50 years, 9 months, and 6 days when Cocoon was released in theaters, because he was in Cocoon and looked old as dirt in that movie. So like when you cross that threshold in age, you've crossed the Brimley Cocoon line, and that's when you can truly feel old, because Wilford Brimley looked like an old man for 40 years.
I'm hoping this whole black don't crack thing is true. That's all I'm hoping for.
Look,
in a related note to the story, Ubisoft taking considerable measures to stop harassment. In an unrelated story, Far Cry 6 to be released in 2021.
Great.
So there you go.
It's got Giancarlo Esposito.
There you go.
In it. 2 things to look out for later this week. There is a Sonic Direct on Friday at 12 o'clock.
It's a Sonic Central. I called it a Sonic Direct because that's what it is.
Look, Sonic Central sounds like a better. I like it more. It flows better. There's also going to be a Horizon state of play that's going to show gameplay of Horizon Forbidden West for the very first time, which is going to be revealed on. Let's see here. The time says all over the place. It's 2 p.m. Pacific, so that is 5 p.m.
5 p.m. here.
They don't even have Eastern time listed. I am galled.
That's wild. At least Sonic had the foresight to say that the Sonic Central is at noon on Thursday. Sonic turns 30 this year. A lot of games turning 30 this year.
Jesus Christ.
A lot of games having big anniversaries this year. Turns out a lot of big games released in either 1986 or 1991. Yeah. But Sonic the Hedgehog turns 30 this year.
Castlevania is 30.
Castlevania turns 30 this year. Dragon Quest turns 35 like tomorrow. I mean, I guess Zelda also turned 35 this year. Pokemon turned 25 earlier this year. Yeah, a lot of big ones.
Now, Mike,
I'm excited for this Sonic.
I'm excited for this Horizon because the fact that this Horizon the gameplay reveal is happening now tells me, Micah, we should expect it in October, November of this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and give this one a shot. I played the first Horizon, and I liked the game, but I never finished it.
I fell out on it as well. It was too long. I got through like 2/3. I did the thing I always do where I finish 2/3 of an open world game, and then
yeah.
The rest.
So I'm hoping that this game really, really grabs me, because the game is great. I just fell off of it.
Jeff Keighley has revealed the lineup for the Summer Games Fest. Now, it's not going to be taking place across 3 months like it did last year. It's going to be pretty much back to back with E3. Like we're going to get like a whole long ass weekend of video games between Summer Games Fest and E3. The Summer Games Fest kickoff show is going to be Thursday, June 10th, I believe at 1 p.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Pacific. And he also released, it's going to have Weezer performing at the Summer Games Fest kickoff show.
Wow. Weezer.
Right. It's another elder millennial band, Carrie, that we really like a lot. And
I don't care for Weezer.
They have a new album that just came out. So
I'm sure they do. I'm sure he sounds just as uninterested as he did 25 years ago singing.
And he also revealed his lineup of publishers that's going to be presenting during the Summer Games Fest, and it's a who's who. Like there's very few publishers that are major publishers in the industry that aren't going to have something to show at this. The only ones that I could see that don't are Microsoft and Nintendo. Literally everybody else, including PlayStation, or no, Xbox is on there. It's just Nintendo. Literally everybody else is going to be showing something. So cool. I appreciate that Jeff Keighley stepped up with the digital show ball that E3 kind of dropped last year in a lot of ways. So and I appreciate that I don't have to like make time for it at 8 different weekends out of the course of the year.
Yeah.
Speaking of E3, registration is opening up to fans next week. Though the vaccines are working well, I don't know how I'd feel about going to an in-person convention.
Well, it's not an in-person convention.
Oh, that's right. It is all digital.
It's like a digital online thing, which really begs the question of what are you signing up for?
Yeah.
Is it like the Thunderdome where you got to sign up and then?
Well, they're going to be streaming all the presentations, unless it's like for panels or something, I guess.
So it says virtual experience for fans with quote booths, hosted events, video conferencing, profiles, avatars, online forums, and leaderboards. Now, the company that I work for had like basically a virtual conference that had like digital booths and stuff like that. So I have experienced firsthand how this can work, and I can see how this works for like literally any other industry that's not video games, and that's, you know, not quite as all-encompassing as E3 is. So I don't know how this is going to work. I'm personally just going to look forward to watching the press conferences.
I might try to register for this. I mean, we would be considered loosely in the influencer category. Apparently there's early registration if you're
you have to submit like a business card or some shit though. Like you have to provide specific details for registration.
We've got websites and shit to point people to. Check out our podcasts. Episode 380. We've been doing the thing for 8 years. So
that's a long time.
We'll see if we can get in. We'll see if we can make it in the door. I don't know what it's going to bring us, but if we make it in, we'll let you know what's behind the curtain. Final news story this week. Now, look, it's been a running joke on this show that we have been trying to get Micah to play No Man's Sky for almost 5 years. And the people at Hello Games have heard the call. They've done everything they can. They've updated the game millions and millions of times. They put some fantastic stuff in the game. And at least a little part of it is all in an effort to get Micah and his obstinate ass to get up and to try this game out, because Micah has sworn that he will never play it. Well, the latest thing that Hello Games has dropped, if this doesn't do it, nothing will. Nothing will. Because as of last week, you can unlock your very own SSV Normandy SR1 ship to fly around in No Man's Sky.
So there's a key word that you just said there.
Yes.
And that word is unlock, which I'm inferring means that I have to play the game for a bit.
You have to play the game
to do something in order to unlock it.
Yes.
The only way I'm playing this is, one, it's on PlayStation Plus, right? I'm not spending 1 red cent on this game. 2, the SSV Normandy is waiting for me when I turn the game on. That's it. I don't want to build nothing.
In fact, you only have a week to play the mode that you have to play in order to unlock it, and complete objectives to do it.
Nope, sorry, not doing it.
I wish I had some time to get to No Man's Sky, get to Normandy, but I wish I do, but I don't.
Womp womp. Look, this was a very good attempt at trying to get me to try this game. I mean, if it was, I commend them. Thank you for listening. But no, I don't want to have to unlock anything. All right, it's time for the Amazon read. Go to densepixels.com/Amazon. Yes, it's just the transitions that we have. I'm a professional.
That was the now you're gonna see a perfect play.
Go to densepixels.com/Amazon. When you go to densepixels.com/Amazon for all of your Amazon purchases, you get what you want and you help us out by giving us a finder's fee. You don't pay anything extra. Let's go to densepixels.com/Amazon right now and type in Belle Biv DeVoe. When we do, we see the 20th Century Masters The Millennium Collection. Wow. Best of Belle Biv DeVoe.
Look.
There are 3 songs that I have heard of on this 12-track album.
I think I could tell you one, and it's Poison.
And 2 of them are the same song.
Is it Poison and then like a remix of Poison?
It's Do Me and a remix of Do Me.
Okay.
And they put the 3
I'm sure
songs.
If you played Do Me, I would recognize it, but I'm
not going to sing it, but you've probably heard it before.
Yeah,
and the 3 songs that Belle Biv DeVoe are known for are 1, 2, and 3 on that track. Let's type in Steam Controller. When you go to densepixels.com/Amazon and type in Steam Controller, you could get yourself one of the most ugly looking pieces of hardware I've ever seen.
I'm surprised it's still on there. How much is it?
For $174.75.
That's because it's not available new anywhere. They liquidated that shit years.
They even have a payment plan. $30 a month. If you really want this hideous looking controller, by going to densepixels.com/Amazon, you can. All right. Yeah, there are some ugly looking controllers out there, and you can buy one at densepixels.com/Amazon.
I just had a stroke of genius is too far. Inspiration of possible premium content. Special thing for this show specifically. What if we did a tournament of controllers?
Ooh. Like all time, going back to like Atari.
So we'd have to narrow it down to like 32 controllers probably.
Okay.
But yeah, absolutely. Like
okay.
going back as far back. And look, if there's something that the men with the golden tongues they love them a tournament. I'll tell you.
This will be fun.
I'm down. I'm in for that.
Yeah. So that just hit me. I wrote it down. So now it's gone from a thought to an idea. And we'll revisit that later.
Oh, it's gonna be fun just going back and looking at all those different Nintendo controllers.
Yeah. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Oh man.
So
we gotta include like prototypes and stuff in there too, right?
No, I feel like we only gotta do released controllers.
Only released controllers. No boomerang control.
No boomerang.
No boomerang. Okay. No.
No boomerang. Yeah, that's gonna be that. Yeah, I like it. I like it already. We go to the post office where Carrie specifically asked for some video game questions to read. So we start with Rev.
Hold on.
Oh, we actually start with
Mark. Start with M. Rogers.
Mark, yeah.
Who after the show last week submitted a question and asked, speaking of totally useful, long-lived things, are any of you still using Nintendo Labo? And don't lie and say you are. If it was a boy band, it'd be O-Town. Now, I chafed a little bit at this comment because I don't dislike O-Town. That being said, I feel like O-Town is a fair boy band comparison to draw for the Nintendo Labo.
Yeah.
As far as
Does the
weird
Labo
peripherals.
is the Labo considered a controller?
I don't think so. No,
No,
because it
it's
incorporates the
too much.
Joy-Cons. It requires the Joy-Cons.
Oh, it requires the control. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you. I got you.
I bought Nintendo Labo and it came out on 420 a couple years ago, and I had a real fun time being high as shit playing with the Nintendo Labo.
Look, that's brilliant. Brilliant on Nintendo's part.
Look,
to get a bunch of stoners who are out of their mind.
Yo, here's
to
a
buy this
coloring.
thing.
Here's a video game where you can, like, you know, color and build shit. It was a fun time. I had a real fun about week and a half with it, and then I gave it to my cousin's kids.
Yo,
But then they had a delightful time with it because it's meant more for children. It's not something meant for adults.
Rev asks, how skittish do y'all feel about WWE returning to live event venues that aren't in the Thunderdome?
I'm fine with it because I'm not gonna be there.
Well, yeah. So and that's the thing. So like I trust in the science around the vaccines and the fact that the CDC says that if you're fully vaccinated, like you're generally good. Like you really don't have to worry too much about stuff. And I'm going to definitely be reincorporating myself into society outside of my home, slowly but surely, like going to restaurants and shit like that.
Yeah.
I still don't know how I'd feel about being in a group of fucking, 5,000 people in relatively close proximity. I'm still not quite there yet.
Yelling and screaming.
Yeah.
At the top of it. Like it'd be one thing if they were just kind of there.
Yeah. And in an arena, like I might catch an Orioles game or two this summer in a stadium, and no one's going to be there anyway because it's the Orioles. But it's going to be more difficult to rationalize like going to a Capitals game in the fall.
Yeah, like I'm gonna go to some baseball games this summer because I know how to separate myself from the disgusting masses.
Yeah.
But also that's, again, very easy to do at an Orioles game where they were like, attendance today at this Orioles game, it was like a Tuesday, it was like 7,000, and I'm like, so any other Tuesday at an Orioles game in the last 3 years. Yeah.
Anthony asks, any comforting words for those stuck in waiting for the sequel to this awesome indie game hell? I loved Hollow Knight, and Hollow Knight Silk Song isn't looking like it's happening soon. There's no crunch or AAA title churning out a solo sequel each year with indie devs, but man, I'd love some actual news other than stay tuned. So
the comforting word is that it's happening.
Correct. It's happening. It's probably going to be good. Especially if it's, just following a lot of what Hollow Knight did. And that's the only thing with indie games, right? Is that you're going to have to wait longer because it's smaller teams. They're not, killing themselves to fucking make the game. And it just takes long to develop. In the Schreier book that I plugged at the beginning of the show, it talked about how guys went from a lot of folks that worked at Mythic Games were the folks that made Enter the Gungeon, for example. And it took them literally 2 years longer to make the game than they thought it would when they first projected it out, just because you don't know what you're going to run into. My solution to you is find more cool indie games to play that are out now. So
yeah, there's that.
While you wait.
I mean, at the very least, the Hollow Knight devs have been really transparent with sort of the status. Because I think they said earlier this month, they were just like, hey, don't expect anything from us at E3. We're not going to have anything to show you. So I feel like they have at least sort of kept people's expectations at an appropriate level. They're not hyping the shit out of this game. So at least what's happening. I've been sitting on a cliffhanger for more than a decade, and
it's true.
Ain't shit happening there. So at least your game is happening.
Gustavo has now that the Premier League season is over, Gustavo has our final results from the Premier League Pick'em extravaganza. Carrie, your beloved Magpies, Newcastle United, finished 12th. You had them at 15th place, so you did not win. They outperformed expectations. I was so close to Tottenham Hotspur. I had them flagged for 6th place. They finished 7th. They could have finished 6th with a couple things breaking right on the final day, and that would have been really nice, but that's not what happened. He also asked me who's going to be the new Spurs manager. No clue, and I'm probably going to hate it regardless of who it ends up being. So we'll see what happens there. Terrence correctly had Leicester City finishing 5th. You are welcome, Terrence, because Tottenham beat them on the final day of the season that dropped them down to 5th place. Terrence is a $50 winner. And Micah, Chelsea finished 4th. You originally had them pick 7th, and then you changed it to 4th mid-season to be petty to one up. And that has ended up working for you. So you apparently win $20.
Well, Brad, when you are a football aficionado like myself, you are able to make decisions like that on the fly, spur of the moment. Like, I'll get you there one day. You stick with me. I'll tell you everything you need to know about this international football thing.
Gustavo wants to know how you guys would like to receive your prize.
I feel like you should just do a charity donation.
Probably.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I can't say nothing now. No. That was a joke. That was a joke, and there's truth in every joke. Yeah, I don't know. Donate it to
We'll pick a charity.
video game influenced charity.
Well, I'm starting on my Extra Life page soon, so you can do that, and it'll go to the Children's Miracle Network Hospital. So
there you go.
Cam says, I have not finished Mass Effect 1 yet because I'm not a goddamn psychopath like Brad, but I have played deeper into the first game than ever before, which admittedly was a J-sized bar to clear. It's a very, very high number. My question is, what the fuck is racist ass Ashley's problem? Even in a different galaxy, white women are a fucking problem.
Depending on how deep you are into that first game, and if you talk with Ashley, I understand if you don't. Ashley sucks.
I literally stopped talking to her when I decided that she was going to die.
Yeah, yeah. Like, you gotta, if you talk to her, you realize that her family, like her father or her grandfather or something like that, was a general. She's an army brat, so her grandfather or something was a general or something like that, and he was the first human to like give up position when faced with an alien threat. So the Williams name is a name that is synonymous with cowards, and she blames the aliens for it instead of her chicken shit ass grandfather. If you do want to keep Ashley alive, just know that in Mass Effect 3 she changes her stance. She actually has a pretty decent arc. The problem is you gotta like invest in Ashley, and and if you don't want to have sex with Ashley, I totally understand not wanting to invest time with her.
Yes, because she's a bitchin' too. Also, if you keep her around.
Yeah, because she's like, I thought you were dead, right? Like, I understand, but in 3 she has a real good change of heart, and in 3, like, she gets kind of beat up a bit, but it's not cool. But yeah, I get it. Ashley's a bigot.
Gonna combine the next two questions. Daniel says, are there any games that we three have played together cooperatively or otherwise? Anthony says he still wants us, the crew, to play Among Us or You Don't Know Jack or something along those lines. No, we have not gotten a chance to really play anything all together, and that would be very cool. The challenge, as usual, when it comes to us, is scheduling.
Finding time.
Like,
we're all adults.
It's not even finding time individually; it's just finding time collectively where we're able to do it. So,
I'm the one with the freest schedule because I ain't got kids, so
it's true.
Right.
On
and
you
I'm
guys.
relegated to doing things after 8:30.
Yeah. But look, now that Among Us is available on literally every platform, including PlayStation, we have no excuse.
No, we should probably stream some Among Us.
It's not quite there yet. That would be very fun, though. I would like it a lot because like Anthony says, Among Us is literally the Resistance, which is fine. So I love the Resistance. It's good. Not Resistance like from Insomniac games, Micah, like the card game, The Resistance.
Oh, okay.
So
Settlers of Catan. I don't. Am I doing it right?
For you. Mad Coco G asks, does Tim Cook deserve an Oscar for his performance of being a donkey-brained individual when he was on the witness stand in the Apple Epic trial? Look, executives like that are always going to act aloof and like they don't really fucking know what's going on, at least to the limits of what's believable. In situations like this, because they don't want to look bad, because they know if they speak candidly, then they're probably going to lose. So that's par for the course. Phil Schiller was kind of the same way. When they had him up there too. And to be fair, Tim Sweeney was also probably, I didn't hear a lot from his testimony, but I would imagine that he was in the same boat. So that the trial is over, by the way. We now have to wait for the judge's decision to come down, which is going to take a couple of months before that is rendered. So we will wait with bated breath, but what a trial it was, as we got a couple good weeks of content out of that. Ricky says Vault of Glass came back to Destiny on Saturday. Took about 4 hours, 15 minutes to beat it in contest mode. Have we tried it yet? No, because I'm not really playing Destiny anymore, and Micah didn't either.
I've been on a team that has beaten Vault of Glass, but that was a long time ago. Yeah.
And apparently the runner-up team, so like Bungie posts like the first teams for the contest on their website. They had to remove one of the members from the runner-up team because his screen name was Black Lives Don't Matter. So once they saw that, they were just like, yeah, no. So that was considered a 5-person team. So that dude doesn't get credit for being second to clear the new Vault of Glass.
Jesus Christ.
For being
like... All right.
It's so easy to just not be a fucking racist.
It really is, yo. It really is.
It feels like it's so much effort to do shit like that now, to just be so needlessly antagonistic and racist and shitty.
Oh man. All right, yo.
I'm tired of these people.
Or in the case of if the dude happened to not be like a massive racist, just don't be a fucking edgelord. No one cares. No one cares because that could have easily just been like an edgelord name. So Johnny asks, what big leak do you see happening before E3? It's got to be Sony related, right? Like it has to be Sony.
I feel like it's either going to be something Sony or EA related. I feel like those are typically our two biggest, our two leakiest companies in the lead up to E3.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to hear anything about Nintendo. I don't think we're going to hear anything from Bethesda. Like I really feel like certain companies have gotten so good about keeping shit under wraps.
I could see if, which they keep saying it's not, but if Starfield or Elder Scrolls 6 is somehow destined for this year to release, I could see like a teaser website popping up like it did for Fallout 4.
Okay, I can see that happening. Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I would think it's Sony related. Johnny also asked,
Spider-Man. That's what I'm hoping.
Oh, like a proper Spider-Man too.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I hope for that too.
Finally, Johnny says, is your Commander Shepard going to stay loyal to one romantic option, or are you going to be Captain Kirk / Zeus and just plow any and everything? He also said great stuff from Saturday, Carrie, with the Baltimore Gaming Symphony Orchestra.
Thanks, babe.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Once I get around to playing Mass Effect, I will be cruising for those mandibles.
So here's the tricky situation though. If you want to maintain faithfulness throughout all 3 games of the trilogy, you will be sacrificing your ability to get the trophy for getting a paramour in all 3 games of the trilogy, because
dude, I've never cared about trophies.
I know.
I care about fucking aliens, but I don't care about trophies unless the trophy is for fucking an alien.
Right, but I really do. And the problem is that I really wanted to remain monogamous to Liara throughout the entire trilogy, because she's one of the few people that you can do that with. And I've had what counts as the romantic encounter with her in Mass Effect 2, because there's a small one after the Shadow Broker DLC if you decide to continue the relationship. But you don't get the Mass Effect 2 trophy for it.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
It's got to be
You gotta actually fuck somebody on camera to
yeah. Or it don't count. Oh shit. Yeah, I wanted to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But
now allegedly, if you do Shadow Broker early enough so that you have the encounter with Liara, you can then have a fling with another one of your crew members, assuming you can still build that relationship without penalty in the second game, where she won't be mad at you in 3. Allegedly. My conscience won't allow me to do that because I'm not an adulterer.
Well,
even in video game form.
I want these trophies because I want that 100%. So it is, when it comes to Mass Effect 3, I am in the camp of it is better to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Well, here, so my idea was this: I will create like a save file, like a separate save file now.
Or you're gonna save scum yourself into the trophies?
Yeah, so I'll wait till I beat the game, and then like I'll go off into Mass Effect 3 with my imported save, but then come back around to Mass Effect 2 and work on popping more than just a trophy in Mass Effect 2.
Wow.
We'll see.
Wow.
I just wanted to pop Micah, which I then I just realized I'm using pop in 2 different contexts too close to
Oh yeah, that's
not,
yeah.
You gotta, it's like the morality system in Mass Effect. You gotta go with one and stick with it. You can't just be hopping between Paragon and Renegade.
So, but no, I'm gonna stay faithful to Liara at least through my main play to see what that looks like in Mass Effect 3 when you get there. So that is it for the show this week. If you missed the performance from the Baltimore Gamer Symphony Orchestra, you can catch the whole thing on YouTube. You can also catch the individual songs.
Yeah, there's a whole playlist that has the whole concert, which is right about 90 minutes, and then all the individual song videos in concert order, plus a blooper reel, because when you're recording songs for video, shit tends to go sideways half the time. Brad, you were watching for at least part of it, right?
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
I came in right in time for I think for F-Zero. So
okay.
Which that's what I wanted. That's what I was coming for anyway.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day. So, but I do still have to make time to go back and watch the whole shebang. So
you can see me sing on one song. So there's there's that.
Persona, so
yeah, I sang Beneath the Mask from Persona 5. But yeah, a lot of good stuff. We had a really fun choir piece from Castlevania and Demon Souls, Toho Project, Wolfenstein, Super Mario Land, Sticker Brush Symphony, one of the all-time great video game tunes. I'm particularly proud of the our finale piece, which is a Pokemon medley, because having to layer in like a dozen musicians on top of a bass track is tough. So but we got it done. So if you missed out, please have a look.
While you're on the internet, as Micah's partial saying, don't forget to join our Discord, deadspixels.com/fans. Subscribe to the show wherever you download your podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/deadspixels. And follow us on Twitch. I'm Denspixels Brad. Carrie is Something's Carrie. Terrence is Apparition 410. That's it for us this week. Thank you guys very much for watching and listening. We'll see you all the next time.
See ya.
See you.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.